Hello everyone, today we got to play Coatl. So this is an Aztecian themed game, but before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you would like to join Randrac, Birdman, and myself, Dragonmother, on our adventures of discovering new fun games. So let's get into this. Randy, tell us more about Coatl.
So Coatl is a 2020 release. It is ranked or rated currently on Board Game Geek 7.2. Rank of 1707. It's 1 to 4 player game, 30 to 60 minutes, and that's about right. That's what we played it in. Age 10 and up, and I think that's probably accurate as well. It's not that complex of a game. Designed by Etienne Dubois-Roy and Pascal Bressard. Art is by Silly Jelly, and I have to assume that is a company name and not an individual's name, or if so, I'm sorry for that individual.
Hey, that would be a fun name.
Yeah, you're going to be getting picked on a lot in school.
Well, you know, kids aren't nice.
Yeah. Publisher is Synapsis Games. It is classified as an abstract family puzzle game with contracts and set collection.
Oh, wait, let's talk about quality of pieces. So you have these hollow plastic... well, you know.
You have these broken pieces on the floor.
No, they're not. Well,
it's designed to come apart. I mean, you're building it from pieces.
Yeah, it's designed to come apart. I didn't stretch it taut enough. Okay. But yeah, so basically you're building it and you're trying to create different patterns. But they are hollow inside. But still, they function. The only problem you had complaint-wise is that they stayed hooked on each other.
When you're trying to draft them from the bag, you're pulling the head at a time, one tail at a time, and you're pulling 2 body pieces at a time. But the body pieces in particular had a tendency to cling together because that's what they're designed to do.
Right.
So as you're drafting them, they don't come out as smoothly as, like, say, Azul or some of the other games where you're drafting things out of a bag.
But I mean, still, I think it's fine. Now, the card quality, it was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, they're fairly thick. They've got linen finish. I mean, this is something...
And they're 2 sizes. You have, like, almost a tarot size and a standard size.
Yeah, but this is nice.
Yeah.
They did a good job here. You also... Now, the one disappointment in kind of this is the player board.
Yeah,
it's like
I don't even know what they call them, a player board, player mat.
Yeah, no, because it's
it's cardstock. Yeah.
But you do actually have a thicker cardboard center tile that when you flip it over for scoring at the end of the game. So overall, though, I think there's a lot of nice pieces and it's colorful and it's bright and I like it. I like the fact you're doing kind of a 3-dimensional build. So what would you rate this, considering all the nice pieces?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I should point out, we got this game at a steal. It was the Card House deal of the day. It was for $15. For $15, this is a steal for these quality
I'm really
components.
Surprised by the quality of the cards.
Yeah, and all the bags are screen printed too. We should point that out.
So what was the MSRP for this? You didn't mention that in your stats.
Sorry, the MSRP for this is $39.99. And we got it, as I mentioned, for $15.
So super steal.
For $40, that's probably about right. I think $40 is a good price for this.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's being MSRP means you could probably get it $30 to $35 standard.
Yeah, but considering, I mean, like you said, screen printed bags, you've got 3-dimensional, the card quality is excellent. That's good. That's still fine.
I mean, given the price point and what you get, I'm probably going to give this a quality of 8, I think is where I'm at.
I'm down with that. I think that's good. They could have gone a little better on the tiles, but really, I mean, for the price point, this is fine. All right, so let's move on to theme. So it's an Aztec-themed theme, and you're trying to build these Coatls, and depending on the design, that's when you get victory points. So I think the art's really pretty. It's very unique. I love the color palette. It's very bright and fun. Although it's got a little bit, like some of these pictures, they're like I don't know. There's just this feeling of, it's colorful and bright, but it's still kind of adultish too, right?
Yeah.
So it's not straight up kiddish. And I really like the art style.
But it's the same picture on every card of the same color. So it is a little redundant. But it's pretty. It's very vibrant. It's very colorful.
Yes, but it's unique too. There's a lot of nuance in each picture, so it was still pretty to look at. But like you said, every color is the same, and so sadly. But other than that, so I really like the art, and I like the theme. I like the you're building this Coatl, you're trying to get the right designs. And I think that's integral to gameplay. So I really appreciated the theme on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously on our trip coming up. One of the things you want to do is go see one of the, this is Aztec, but the Mayan pyramids. You could find an Aztec pyramid too. So I don't know what.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know which ones that we're going to go visiting.
Yeah, I think it's Mayan, where the area we're going to be. But either way, it's interesting culture, and it's interesting to see the history of this, and it is a very colorful. It's not a common one you see. I mean, you've got Zolkin and some of the other ones that are from that.
Yeah, Teotihuacan.
But those are all heavier games.
Yes, so this one's a lighter version. Yeah. So I thought that was great. The fact that they kind of did this for this. So absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so I think it's a cool theme, and I mean it is intrinsic to the gameplay in the sense that you're building a Coatl, but apart from that, it's kind of layered in. But I still think it's a very appropriate and a very vibrant theme, and it's fun, it's colorful, it's pretty. I'll go ahead and probably give this an 8 as well. Yeah,
I agree with you. I really liked the theme. I enjoyed it, and I do think there was some. Like I said, the art was fantastic. So tell us more about the rulebook, Randy.
All right. Well, there's actually two in 2 different languages. So you have one's a rulebook and one's a rule sheet.
So one of them is for solo play only, though, right?
Yes. The sheet is for solo play only.
And the 2 different languages, there's...
I believe it's English and Spanish.
Okay.
I'm not an expert in Spanish, so it could be, French, could be Klingon, but I assume it's Spanish. And it would go with the theme, so we'll go with that. But the rulebook is 12 pages long, has a nice pretty cover on it. It has real easy setup. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to set this up. It's very simple.
I thought the pictures were very clear and easy to follow.
They are. They are very clear. They got explanation of the symbology on the cards. It tells you, it's a very straightforward, simple game. So it's not hard to learn this game. The game end is actually on page 9, so and the cover page, so it's actually 8 pages of rules, and it's pretty decently spaced and sized, so it's not hard to learn this. I'm going to go ahead and give this we'll give it an 8 on everything else. We'll give it an 8 on this too.
Fantastic. All right, so now let's talk about gameplay. So gameplay, you have a couple of actions during your turn. So you can choose to take 2 of the body pieces, or 1 of the head, or 1 of the tail. So that's one action that you could take. Or you can choose to draw up to your hand size, which is 5. So during those turns. The third action is you can build your Coatl. So for an example, so I might have, we're going to break this apart because this is fun. All right, so I would have had to build some of this. All right. So now I only have a limited amount of spaces that are available to me to store. Okay. So at any point, I can take an action to build. So you don't need to complete the Coatl during a build phase. So you can slowly build. You can build up to 2 at a time, correct?
2 active Coatls you're building at a time.
Yeah, but understand that you're only going to have 3 Coatls over the course of the game, so just kind of being aware of that. All right, so I'm going to go build. I'm going to have these cards in my hand because we're doing this. All right, so then I'm going to build because I know what my cards say, and this is very good for me. Woohoo! All right. So I'm going to build this, all right?
You're trying to match patterns that are on the cards that you've collected.
So I have these cards in my hand, and at this point, once this is completed, I cannot add any more cards in future rounds.
Yeah, except for these bonus cards, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah. All right, so then I'm going to match these. So, for example, this one has 3 green in a row, and I could do this to a max of 2 times based on the scores. So I was able to do 6 greens here. To play the card, you only have to have 1 triggering moment. So it triggers at 1 or 2. So as long as I have 3 in a row, I can lay down the card. Then this one is just a green chain. I have to have a minimum of 3 to a maximum, not a maximum per se, but the max worth of points is 6. You can put as many there as you want, but they may not be worth any points. for this card, so I'm going to lay that one down. And then this, for example, is a specific pattern, 2 black, 3 green, and that again really worked well with my 3 green, so I was able to play all of these cards for this one Coatl.
You can have a maximum of 4 cards assigned of those type, the standard cards from your hand as a part of
and you
Coatl.
can't have a duplicate of the same card, because there are a couple of out there, which is really a shame. I was really sad. I got another green card that I couldn't play because it was duplicated. But okay, so then that's it. Now, when I said, so we talked about that second action being able to go to your hand size. So you may build partially to get rid of some of your cards so that you could draw more cards that maybe fit some of your other things that you're doing and kind of planning. Knowing that you have 3, you kind of know, all right, I'm going to need 3 sets of cards that kind of match each other to get max points. And you kind of know what you need to be drawing and things like that.
But before we move too far ahead, since you finish your Coatl, you can evaluate. There's 2 of these bonus cards that are available in the mid area, and then you have 1 private one you start the game with, but you may accumulate more as you take actions in the game. So the cards out there, if you meet the criteria of them, you get the points that are in there. You can take the card and add it to your Coatl. You can only have 1 per Coatl, and you can only play 1 at a time. So you can choose which one if you meet multiple with the criteria, but you can only have 1.
Right.
Now you also, one other action you have these 3 bonus tokens you start the game with, and they give you basically a cheat in the other actions you can take. You can take 1. This one lets you draw 2 of your choice from the bag.
Or one of a head or a tail.
Or a head or a tail, so you don't have to go by the gamble of what comes up.
This lost me the game.
Well, quick, because I already had the ones I needed, or no, because you didn't play yours.
I know. I was really sad. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna hold it. No.
Yeah. I mean, once you've used it, it's gone. So you only use it once per game, all these tokens. This one allows you to take another one of these cards that's out in play that's public and put it into your private, so you can keep it from anyone else getting it. And then the third one lets you wipe the board of the cards out here. Any cards in your hand that just don't fit what you're trying to build, you can discard, and then you can draw as many cards as you want back up to your hand size of 5. 5 is the maximum number of cards you can have.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much all the elements to the game. And then obviously at the end of the game, you're going to flip over the scoring board and you're going to calculate what your different... Hopefully you get 3 dragons or Coatls by the end of the game.
But the game ends when someone gets a 3rd Coatl, or there's none of the body pieces available to fill the board, and they're all taken. So one of those 2 conditions will trigger the end of the game. In the condition that someone completes your Coatl, you evaluate if the start player was. Everyone else gets 2 actions on a single turn to complete their turn. After that, the person who completed, who started the ground, would only get 1.
To clarify, is that basically whoever ends the round, the people before that person in the turn order only get 1 action, and the people after that turn order gets the 2 actions. So, so basically everyone gets an equal number of actions to build.
That's in the condition where someone builds their 3rd Coatl. It's different in the situation where the board empties. At that point, you finish the round, and everybody gets 1 more round, and it's only 1 action. Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it. I really enjoyed this game. I like puzzle games, and this is right up my thing. There's end of game victory or end of scoring mechanisms that work. All that stuff is right up my alley. I really had a lot of fun. I do think Sarah could play this when she get maybe another year. Because it's just building these things. I think there's a lot of my family members that would really like this. So I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this one. Score-wise, what about you? What do you think?
I thought it was a neat little puzzle game. I don't think it's like nearly like Azul or...
Oh, come on. That's not the same. You can't,
I mean, it's not to that level.
You can't compare.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in the puzzle genre. So,
right, but
since Azul is towards the top of that puzzle genre's ranking, I'm going to probably go ahead and give this one a 7.5, I think, is where I'm at.
What would you give Azul?
I think I gave Azul a 9. I'm pretty sure it was like an 8.5 to 9, somewhere in there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep up with our 8 theme, and I'm going to go 8 on this, because I had a lot of, well, I like puzzle games a little more than you. So I'm 8 all the way. I love the theme. I love the things that you're doing. I do not like Randy, playing with him.
I think you could have just left it. You don't like Randy. I mean, you would find there.
No, well, I am married to you, so I can't, like...
Well, that doesn't mean you like me.
Well, I mean, like, listen, I need the insurance money if something is to happen, and I have to have deniability. Now, so, no, but, again, you ended the game too quick. I needed one more round. But, you know, still, we had a lot of fun doing it, and it's fun to tease each other. So, well, we had an absolute blast tonight, and hopefully you did too, and you'll come and join us again as we talk about... There's some other games coming up.
Oh, lots of games. I don't know which one's coming up next, but we got lots of games coming.
Well, I know which one we're reviewing next, and that's Bear Park, right?
Bear Park, yeah. We played that one, and we haven't got the review done, so we will be reviewing that.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you. Bye. So let's talk about Rulebook.
Look, can I get in my seat before we talk about the Rulebook?
No, I just figured if we did it 20 more times, we'll just do it another time. I feel like I've already reviewed this game 4 times already.
I know.
But... So tell us about the review book.
All right, let's start over.
Again!
Hi, we're here to review Coatl.
No, we're not doing this again. We're not starting from the start. Oh my gosh. All right, Randy, so tell us about the rule book.
So there's actually 2. There's a rule book and a rule sheet.
Now, one of them is strictly for one player, right?
Yes, the rule sheet is just for solo. And there's 2 copies in the box, one in a different language for each of these.
What are the 2 languages that it offers?
Aztec. I don't know what the other language is.
Listen, I'm interviewing you about the rule book.
You're interviewing me about things that I don't know. It's in Sanskrit.
No, Sanskrit isn't. Come on, that's Sumerian. This is the last time I'm doing it again.
You're throwing curveballs in on me when I was...
I am trying to be more interactive.
Okay.
This is a conversation.
If you're going to ask me what language the other book's in, you got to prepare me for that. I can't just... It's Klingon, actually. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.